Hey guys, so we all know Foodie went live tonight, um, and she was sneaking around, um, so Salah wouldn't know. But Rosie went live also, and today was supposed to be the day of her big date. No, yesterday was the day of her big date, and she didn't go live yesterday. So maybe we'll get to hear about how her date went. I don't have timestamps or anything, so I figured we're just gonna boop around and see what she has to say. I do have her at 1.5. So let's get on over here to Miss Rosie and see what she has to say for herself today.
Hi, Catlu, Brooke, Roxy, Creme, Odie, Star, Invisible, Selma, hello, love. Thank you so much for your super chat. Much appreciated. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing today? I washed my hair and blew dry it this morning, but when I washed it, I decided to do a double wash, and then I did condition my hair for the first time in a while, and I already regret it. I can kind of tell my hair looks a little more weighed down, but you live and you learn. Hi, Tangerine, Baby Carrots, Juliet, Jellyfish, Farah, Sierra, hello. Hi, everybody. Hey, new name. Hey, Chick, Taylor, Cameron, Demery, Pujita.
I did forget to mention at the beginning of this live stream, she had a goal set. Um, she wanted 5 teal super chats for her to do a Q&A session. I think, and I might be wrong, but I think she might have set that goal because Amber's gone, Foodie's gone, and so I think she thought that she would be the only one creating content, and so she would have more people sent her way, and in return end up with more super chats. However, it did not work out that way for our girl.
Some people rolling in. Hi, Emily. So, I'm not making anything super fancy. We have frozen wontons, and I defrosted. We had frozen like homemade chicken broth. Hi, Shart Lord, Pookie. Um, hey, Angel. Hey, Carmel. Hi, everybody. I missed some people, but hi, everyone. Hello. Um, so I'm just gonna honestly, it's gonna be mostly that. I think I do have some fresh ginger that was frozen. Did that guy ever answer you? Yes. The next morning we talked. Um, yeah, you totally can poetic justice. It's really easy. Like you literally just instead of like frying them. That's fine, Selma. So I ended up not going on the date. Um, we ended up talking, and um, he explained to me like what was going on. I'm not gonna get too into it. It's nothing bad. We just basically decided we were gonna talk a bit more before we met up in person. So yeah, and
Why is it that every person that she talks to or that she's supposed to meet up with, there is something going on? There is some issue. Like, why can it not ever just be straightforward with her? Or does this guy even exist? Because yesterday was the day of the date. She didn't go live. I think everybody just assumed she didn't go live because that was her date. Um, so I don't know. I'm not sure I know just quite yet what's going on.
I may still fry him. I like the texture. That's fair. Yeah. I'm just not in the mood to deal with all that. So yeah, yeah. I'm not. And that's the thing is like we had just started talking. You feeling okay? You look tired. Talking a bit slower. Voice is soft. Um, yeah, I'm okay. I had therapy today, and it was a lot. And at the end of my session, like literally like last 2 minutes, I found out something. Hey Joanna, I'm doing good. I found out something that I was not informed of when I went through intake. When I did the intake again, no one told me. She like mentioned it offhanded, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Um, because I just had to kind of like process it. You seem kind of tired. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that tired. I guess I have been up for a while. But yeah, I don't know. But anyway, uh, I found out because, like I mentioned, I don't have insurance, and so I thought that there was just like, state funding for it. But I guess the funding that, because like it depends on like how much you make, and it's a sliding scale, and da 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 da. Da. But for like for that to um, basically work for me, I guess the way that they do it is you get a limit of either 8 to 12 weeks worth of sessions, and then at that point they evaluate the progress or the therapy, how it's going or whatever. You may or may not get some additional sessions added, and then depending on how that goes, basically you can't requalify to go back to therapy for like 4 or 5 months. And that sucks for me because generally it takes a decent amount of sessions to like build rapport, build history.
Well, they're hoping what will happen is that within that, she said, what, 8 to 12 weeks? They're hoping within that 8 to 12 weeks that you will find a job, become gainfully employed, have income of some kind, because generally with a job comes insurance. And so, state funding only lasts for so long because they're hoping that in that time frame that you'll start therapy, you'll get back on your feet, and that will be able to help launch you into getting a job of some kind that hopefully has insurance attached to it.
Get a sense of like the trauma and stuff. So that was upsetting. And then a few hours after the session, and I'm gonna. So by the way, I'm probably actually about to talk about mental health a lot. So like, if that is not your vibe and you want to bounce, that's cool. But I'm gonna talk about mental health. I'm gonna talk about trauma in like a non graphic way. So if that's not what you want, this might not be the life for you today. So disclaimer there. But um, I'm gonna circle back to something I talked about in my trauma, in my therapy about trauma that I've experienced because of something I saw a few hours later. Because I got on Twitter and I just was like scrolling, and I saw someone had tweeted about me because it popped up on my For You page. I don't seek out, like, I never search my own name on like places like Reddit or Twitter or things like that because I don't want to see it. I don't want to know. I'm good. I stumble across enough shit just by existing on the internet. Like, I don't want to seek it out, especially when I'm in like a more fragile state of mind or sensitive state of mind, I guess. Like, post therapy tends to be a state of mind. But I I guess someone was like watching my old lives and they posted a screenshot from when I was in my room like a month ago, before Gorl World really sunk into my content. Um, and I was just kind of like, I jump scare. Okay, I don't want to see this shit, so I block the person because I don't. If they're tweeting about me in that manner, I don't want to see what they have to say about me in the future. Um, yeah, I don't love them, Joanna. Um, and so I, um, that tweet was annoying, and like I saw the screenshot and I was like, oh, because it just really like, well, first thing I thought was like, man, I was really depressed. Like that was the first thought I had, because like I saw the state of my hair, I saw it like, and I saw my room, um, and then and like they were like just saying like it's not your ADHD, it's laziness, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. But then the second tweet that popped up was someone else, I guess, reposting the same screenshot. People who I think don't even watch my content just shitting on me, and they in the caption it. I'm pissed that it got to me because I don't even like admitting that. But it got to me for a very specific reason. Because they were like, I think the exact quote was, I just know this bitch has roaches. Which, first of all, no the fuck I don't. Second of all, I'm not going to defend the state of my room. It was messed up. It was bad. It was bad. But there wasn't trash. I think the only thing I saw that was like actual trash was I had an empty soda can on my bedstand. Everything else was like clothes and items that were just everywhere. Um,
Okay, well, you are not responsible for what people say about you. I will agree with that. However, you are very well known for saying that you are in charge of your own triggers. I mean, people say it all the time. People have come in your chat and said, why are you eating on screen? It's very triggering to people. And you're like, well, this is my channel and you're responsible for your own triggers. So there's that. But the other thing is that even though you look back and you say, I was horribly depressed, I am embarrassed about the state of my room, I hate that people are talking about it, you chose to leave that up. You chose to leave it there so that people could consume it. And you decided that the price of leaving that up was acceptable to you. And with that comes that criticism. So, yes, people comment on it, but you curate your own world. You are in charge of your own channel. And so some of the responsibility comes to you. If you do not want people commenting about how certain things look or how certain things appear, then you need to work to either remove that content or to make sure that it does not appear that way. I did vlogs for a long time, and I always made sure that my house was clean, it was organized, that I was fully prepared for what I was getting ready to do because I knew that not only would people be coming to sit and watch my content, but in the process, they would see everything behind me. They would see if somebody had left their dirty running shoes next to the piano. They would see if somebody left a dirty dish on the table. They would see if I had dishes in my sink. It, they would notice if my apron was still covered in flour from the last time that I had used it. And so I was very thoughtful and methodical about what I did and how I did it, because I realized it's the internet and everybody's going to make comments. You know that. You have been on social media for a very long time. And so you are partially responsible for what people, I mean, you're fully responsible for what people see, but partially responsible for what we consume, because you are the one putting out the content we are consuming.
But like, I didn't have like food wrappers everywhere. Like, there wasn't trash. I actually am really good about that. Even when I'm depressed, I try to really focus on that. And my parents, like my whole family, we have like, what are they called? We have like a thing that we pay. Like, I don't know how often they come, but they spray our home. And like, if we ever have an issue, we can schedule for them to come in. We don't have a bug problem. And I had today in therapy talked about when I lived in a camper. And I had talked about how awful that was. I lived in a camper for like 7 months during the height of COVID. I lived in like a 6 foot long, or maybe 10 foot long, if I'm being generous, space where my bed, my kitchen, net area, my bathroom was like all in a shoebox essentially. And I was able to access the internet because the peer person's yard that I was basically living.
I hate how she describes that. Like, she says it like it is so horrendous and it is so bad. There are a lot of people who would consider themselves very grateful to live in a space like that. Um, I built, well, me and my husband built by hand, our first cabin. It was a 10 by 10 room, pretty much, that we lived in. And I have never in my life been so grateful for so little, honestly. We lived in a tent beforehand, and then we moved into the cabin. And we moved into the cabin in the middle of November, like we were in winter. And I have never been so excited to have so little. I really honestly think it's about your mindset and what you make out of it. But there are people, there are families who live in campers, and she describes it as if it was this horrible existence and it was so bad. Just a 10 by 6 little box. That's all it was. Everything was on. Sometimes that's all people have, and people are thankful for it. So, yes, I get maybe it wasn't the best experience for you, but I think sometimes you need to approach things a little bit more carefully in your speech. You are very big about policing the speech that is used around you and in your chat. And so I think it's only fair that your audience be able to ask the same thing from you when you are talking about places that people reside in regularly.
Living in had an Ethernet cable coming from their home through like a hole in the bottom of the camper, out that way. But that hole that was drilled into the camper, that had already been there prior to me living in it, like moisture got in 24/7. I had to like wipe down the walls every day, or mold would grow.
Okay, a hole in the floor of the camper because of an Ethernet cable. That is an easy fix. That is a stupid easy fix. See, you go to the store and you get silicone in a caulking gun, and you caulk around the hole, smooth out the silicone, and the hole is sealed and weatherproof. And there's no more moisture getting in. There's no bugs getting in. There is no draft. It is literally like a $10 fix. And the fact that you didn't, it, you are either clueless or lazy. I mean, because that is a very easy fix to Google and find out and be like, hey, I can do that. Anybody can do that.
And of course, with those types of holes, it was like the bug situation was insane to the point that when I got out of that and I experienced a bunch of other trauma and I got out of that, I like I used to literally hallucinate seeing bugs for like a good year to 2 year period. And so I was already in like a fragile state. And then when I saw that and I'd already kind of relived that, I people love to say that they're like pro advocating for mental health and like, you know, people like seek help if you need it, whatever, like go to therapy, like, advocate. I have saying I advocate for mental health, but then they turn around and when people are exhibiting symptoms of bad mental health, they just like shit all over them. And I'm so annoyed that I'm getting emotional right now. But like,
But not everybody realizes that it's mental health that you were suffering from, because you say that your room was a mess because it was mental health. Okay, your kitchen is usually piled with dirty dishes. I bet your trash can is full. There is stuff piled all along that wall going into your living room. Um, it it is very obvious that you are disorganized and messy. And so to somebody on the outside looking in, it looks like it's just laziness. And as I said before, if you know that it's related to mental health and that is something that is sensitive to you, why would you leave it up for further consumption? I mean, it's just an honest question.
if I was living in a house that had bugs, I would be freaking the fuck out. And I would be doing everything in my power to fix it. And I know it's just like one fucking comment. And I shouldn't let it bother me.
Yet you lived in a camper with bugs for 7 months and you couldn't be bothered to fill the hole in with silicone around the Ethernet cable to keep them out. I mean, I'm just pointing out the obvious here. Like, I'm not trying to be a crappy person. I'm just assessing the situation and commenting on it.
But it's like, it's just so frustrating being disabled and people assuming I'm talking about my weight when I say that. When I'm not. And dealing with being a very depressed person and trying to get help and been fighting it for years and being treatment resistant and just being tormented for it. So I'm
Okay, very serious question. Um, and again, I'm not trying to be snarky. I'm just legitimately asking. Has she actually been told by a doctor that she is disabled and not because of her weight? Because disability due to mental health issues is fairly hard to come by. Um, if she is actually disabled, why is she not on disability? Because if she was on disability, state insurance would be helping, which would then be covering the therapy that she's so upset about. Um, and my other question in this is she she almost holds the fact that she went through trauma as like a trophy and almost stands there and is like, I'm damaged. I need an award. I need to be treated differently. I need to be coddled different, almost like it's something special. So, my question would be, is she therapy resistant because she doesn't want the therapy to work? Um, I have experienced some pretty traumatic things in my life. I have some serious mental health diagnoses. However, I went through therapy. I fixed the issues and I can self regulate my emotions. And because I desperately wanted the therapy to work. Um, Not everybody wants that. And if that's the case, then it's very hard for a therapist to help you in the long run. So, I mean, those are my two questions. I don't probably won't ever get an answer to them. But, I was what do you guys think? Do you guys think that she doesn't want the therapy to help? I mean, the scary thing is, and this is what I realized when I went through my therapy, is that it was very comforting to sit there and to be able to say, um, I'm moody because of my mental health. I am struggling because of my mental health. I am this way because I am a victim. Well, once you really go through therapy and you get that help and you have the tools, you're no longer a victim, you are a survivor. You are somebody who is healing, and suddenly you have power and strength. But with that power and strength means that I am no longer allowed to use those excuses like I used to. I have to take full credit for, you know what? I was a crappy person today because I'm just in a crappy mood and I chose to be crappy. I chose not to keep myself in check and keep my mouth in check. Suddenly I go from being the victim to maybe I'm the problem sometimes. And I don't know if she's at a place where she is comfortable enough to be able to say that. It is a lot safer to be able to constantly say that you're the victim and have the victim mentality all the time.
I had already scheduled the live and I heavily considered canceling it just because of the state of mind I got into. My hope is that I can turn my mood around. But, you know, I've not been reading chat at all. I'm so sorry. Damage from the hurricane. I mean, there's a few different things that I think I could be dealing with. I mean, based on my PTSD alone and my symptoms on my PTSD alone, PTSD is a disability. So, yeah. Thank you guys for sending hearts. That's very sweet. Yeah. Messy is different than dirty. Exactly. I'm a very messy person. I own that, but I'm not dirty. And that's been bothering me recently because that's just something that a lot of people, I'm not used to people saying that. And it bothers me. So, yeah, like a small prison cell. I think it's very important that your house is clean even if things aren't perfectly organized.
Okay, I wanna. It took me a minute to process what she was saying. PTSD can be considered a disability. However, you have to prove that you have it on such a significant level that it becomes fully debilitating for your life for you to be labeled fully disabled because of it. I have multiple friends who have served in the military and they are no longer in the military. They do get military benefits and they're diagnosed with PTSD. However, even PTSD from an active war zone was not enough to classify them as 100% disabled. Some of them get 20% disability, some of them get 50% disability. Um, I only have one friend who is on 100% disability from the military, but that man was wounded in action, saving people in his platoon. Um, so I think if that's what it takes for the military to say that you're 100% disabled um, due to PTSD, I don't know that a doctor would classify her as her PTSD being enough for her to be on full disability, where she was like getting disability checks and help with insurance from the government and stuff.
Just put away, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exterminator was the word I was looking for. Like, I don't know if they were making memes. They probably will. They probably have. They probably do. I don't know. So, it was just really bad timing. It was really bad timing. I think it would have rolled off my back completely had it not been like, you're only human. I don't know anyone who wouldn't be affected by mean comments. Yeah. So, it was just annoying. And, I'm sorry to hear that, August. I think I have the opposite problem. I, like, I have some things, but I tend to like purge if I feel like I have too much clutter. Yeah, after therapy, you feel very vulnerable and raw. Yeah. So, that was lame. Sorry for getting emotional, chat. But that's just kind of like, it just really bothered me. Because, like, that's a lot of lost star, Mama. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I felt, I was like, after therapy initially, I was like, I feel a little like, I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but I was like, I feel okay. Like, I feel like I can go live. And then I scheduled a live. And I hate, like, scheduling a live and then canceling. I've only done it, like, once or twice. At least in recent history. I don't know about earlier on. Maybe I've done it more than that. I don't know. Don't quote me. My memory's ass. We all know this. But, as far as I know, it's a very rare occurrence. I don't like to do it. Do you have bugs? No. Are they talking shit? Yes. End of story. Yeah, there you go. So, Brittany, you're so right. We compare ourselves to perfectly curated people. Everyone has their own struggles. Yeah, like, yeah. I know that, like, because also, like, cleaning in general and, like, organization has just always been a difficult thing for me, since, like, childhood. I'm not going to get too into that, but like it's just something that I've always struggled with, and I've like figured out my like coping skills around it and making it work for me. But um, neurotypical people are like, you know, non-disabled people, they just don't get it. They don't understand it, and they make fun of what they don't get. So
Okay. I may be wrong, and you can tell me I am wrong if you want to, and I will not be offended. Um, However, I have a neurodivergent child. He has autism and has ADHD on top of it, and also has a very extreme case of very severe sensory disorders. However, we worked from a very young age through different behavioral therapies and cognitive therapies, and through repetition and practice to learn how to clean up after ourselves, how to keep our room organized, how to deal with our own trash. Because I wanted him, when he became an adult, to be able to be functioning on his own without having to have somebody come behind him and babysit him and say, "Hey, you need to clean your room. Hey, you need to rinse your plate. Hey, we need to clean up after the mess we made." Does it take extra work? It does. Does he have to be extra mindful about what he does? Yes. Is it doable though? Yes. Um, sometimes, and I may be seeing this completely wrong. Sometimes I feel like she seeks out different diagnoses so that she can wear them as a badge of honor. And so she can sit there and say, well, this is why I can't do this, and this is why I can't do this. And well, when you look at this, this is why this is the way that it is. I, I don't understand that mindset. Um, I have always been kind of the pick myself up by the bootstraps, and we're gonna find a way through this, come hell or high water. Because I always wanted a better life. I'm always wanting to better myself. Um, and this is something with all of our girls pretty much. They all kind of seem to be very content to just sit where they are in the lives that they have. It's like Amber constantly yelling, well, my BPD, well, BPD, well, BPD. That's fine, honey, but at some point, BPD is no longer an excuse, and it is now, like, it's not an excuse, you're just using it that way. And I mean, where does the BPD stop? And you're just kind of a crap person. It can't be used for everything. It's almost like a shield that they hide behind when anybody has anything negative to say about them. Which is, what I was talking about earlier. Maybe she doesn't want the help because getting the help removes that shield. And then, she's vulnerable to people saying, well, you're a crap person, and her having to say, yeah, you're right, I probably am, you know?
yeah, and so I've just been like, yeah, cleaning is also tough because it's constant. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Selma. It's awful that some people lack compassion for others and what they've endured in their lives. Yeah, I agree completely. So I'm just like in a weird headspace um, because of that, and yeah, like because back when I was experiencing those types of like so back in like 2020 was when I lived in the camper, and I was talking about the years 2019 to 2021 because that's the part of my life that I like and my trauma that I haven't really processed because I experienced so much heinous shit in those 3 years. Good God. Good God. And it's taken me a while to like, you're good, Sama. It's just taken me a while to like get back on my feet, metaphorically speaking, I suppose, like emotionally. And yeah, I don't know. So it's just been like heavy on my mind the past few hours. And Yeah, I feel you on that, Miss Thickums. It's just like, this is just like, I don't know. I just wish I hadn't seen that when I had seen it. I wish I hadn't seen it at all, but the timing was ass. And like, if you're gonna talk shit about me on Twitter, can you just block me first? I don't want to see it. You do you. It's your life. I put out the content, whatever. You know, before recently, like, I had been so, for so long, I had not watched any reaction content about me at all for, like, the longest time. And then, as y'all know, recently I started watching some streams about me from, like, one specific creator.
Pulpy.
And when I first started doing it was, like, the first time it happened, I was just kind of...
Shout out to Pulpy. I love Pulpy. I do. He's hilarious. He is so smart. Um, and I walk away learning so much from the majority of his streams, like top tier.
kind of like really surprised because I look at myself here in the live the entire time I'm live streaming, but it's like it's different when I'm watching it on the screen as a viewer versus like being the creator in the moment, and just like realizing how I was being perceived because I was just not as, I guess, self-aware in the moment. I don't normally either. I hadn't for such a long time, Joanna. And it's something where like I'm not gonna say like I'm never gonna watch another stream about me, but it's like it's one of those things where I'm not watching all of them. I'm like, if I have a certain reason to, like, I'll watch here and there, right? But it's just, I'm just realizing that, like, I'm like, I just really didn't care about how I was coming across. Like, I wasn't putting any thought or effort into it, and that's why, like, you know, like, I started trying to work on my hair. Cool, Moose. You don't need to be here. Juices. So, yeah. I don't make content for people like you. So, if you're not interested in having a conversation, you can just go. So, yeah. I'm just in, like, a bit of a different headspace today than I normally am. And, that's kind of been, like, consuming my thoughts recently. Seriously, Foxy Roxy. Not go back to Canada. That's crazy, Joanna. That's wild. What? What? I don't know why that hit me in the funny bone. When someone pisses you off, scientifically the feeling lasts 90 seconds. If you keep reliving it, that makes it last longer. Is that real? I've never heard of that before. Joanna says, Joanna is a Canadian? Hey, Kim. Thank you. Yeah. So, that's just kind of like the mental health update aspect, I guess. I'm not going to go super in depth about.
Is she going to wash her hands before she starts cooking dinner?
My therapy, because, duh.
Pause the video right now and give me your honest opinion in the comments. I want to know if you think she's going to wash her hands before she starts cooking dinner, because we were just all up in there. I don't think she's going to. I'm telling you right now, that's my vote. I want to see how many people agree or disagree with me, and I'm trusting y'all to be honest. I hope you know that. I'm trusting you right now. Don't let me down.
I don't think saying that's a choice is accurate, but, you know, live your truth. Jesus Christ, Short Lord, don't even go there, girl. Oh, by the way, I'm never gonna get over your username. I am Canadian. What's wrong with Canada? Nothing's wrong with Canada. No, they were just saying go back to Canada because their username was Moose. That was a joke. You're fine. You're fine, Short Lord. Just calling you Short Lord is just a wild experience. Just guys like, oh hey Short Lord, what's up? How you doing? You know, Canadian living in New Zealand. How'd you get to New Zealand?
I have to say there are some pretty epic screen names, or usernames in Gorl World. Like, I think Gorl World might have some of the most creative people in it, just from what we get with the screen names. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know, her last two streams, she has been so boring, and I don't know how she has so many people showing up to watch her. I mean, she's at 1,600 views. Um, because if I wasn't sitting here making this content for you guys, I probably would have snuck out already. I'm probably getting ready to start booping around to see. I mean, we have sat through 24 minutes of Rosie, and I am struggling. So we might boop around and see what she's got going on elsewhere.
I think it's like one of the hardest places to move to, isn't it? Because it's like highly sought after to live there and it's so small. Chart Lord is the best Lord. Oh dear God. Oitioro? Otioro? I'm butchering that. I'm so sorry. No, I didn't make the soup. No, I'm.
Okay, see, look at what I'm saying. If you look over her shoulder, we have this table thing set up and there's all this stuff piled on it. And then we have shelves behind it that has stuff piled on it. And then we have crap piled here on the counter behind her. Um, like, this is a choice. You choose to live like this every day. This is something that builds up after a while. And I get it's probably not all just her stuff. Oh, she started me yawning, and now oh, I'm just on a downhill slide. This is not a good sign. She needs to perk her streams up a little bit. She needs to get ragey like Chantal or something. I don't know. But this is a choice. Like, she chooses to leave it that way. And then, so you really can't say anything if people start commenting about how it looks because you are so boring. Like, I'm not sitting here and engaged with your face. I'm sitting here and staring at the containers piled up on top of your air fryer. You left your cabinet doors open, which is my biggest pet peeve. Um, your bread is not in a bread box. Ma'am, why is it not in a bread box? Do you have a bread box? There's stuff piled up on the counter behind you. I, why is there a pan just randomly sitting? Is it clean or is it dirty, ma'am? I know you don't do your dishes regularly. There's all this stuff piled out behind her. You are trying to be a professional YouTuber. Step it up. Act like it. Like, choose what spot you're going to be filming in and then make it presentable. Dress it up a little. I don't know. Do whatever it is that you want to do. But if it irritates you that people comment on it, then do something that they can't comment on. Or if they do comment on it, let them be commenting on how awesome it looks. I mean, if you had a cool like wall mural over here or something, I'd be commenting on it. I'd be like, "Dang, that's cool. How'd you get that? I wish I had that." But you don't even give us that. You just give us piles and then expect us to ignore it because you have such a great, witty, and charming personality that it should distract us. It's just overwhelming, the greatness of it.
I'm going to Vegas. I just haven't said when. I'm not giving specifics. What's the base for your wonton soup? Homemade chicken broth. It's really good chicken broth. Like, goddamn. Like, the base of it was the bones from rotisserie chickens from Sam's Club, and water, and then like a bunch of seasonings and stuff. It's the chicken broth is like. I mentioned making it to my mom, and my mom was like, "Oh, I'm so jealous. The chicken broth was so good," and I was like, "I know." I don't think so because I think my mom made this chicken broth, but I know in the past I've.
That was my question. Did Rosie make this chicken broth or not? Because how she is saying it tells me that she probably has not made a whole lot of chicken broth in her life. Because she said rotisserie chicken bones, water, and seasonings. If you cook at all, you know that just what she explained, that is probably going to be a pretty gross and very bland broth. So I'm assuming her mom made it, because generally, if you do not know, when you make broth, you you can do bones, just bones by themselves to make bone broth. I tend to do chicken legs, and I throw everything in, meat, everything, and then I do full onion, 3 stalks of celery, and 2 to 3 large carrots, and then I throw in my seasonings and bay leaf and all of that stuff. And then I let it sit and it simmers for between 8 to 12 hours. That is how you get good broth. It's not by just sticking bones, water, and some seasonings. She talks a big game like she's this some crazy chef. Overall, I have not been horribly impressed by what I have seen her make. Um, and when she does talk about food, she doesn't seem to honestly know what she's talking about. I think she just kind of open containers and dumps them all in a pan. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's the best you can do, then good on you. Like, at least you're cooking. My issue comes in that she sits here and wears a chef hat and talks about what an amazing cook she is. And, like, I just don't like being lied to. I have so much more respect for people who are honest about it. Like Chantal, she'll tell you, she's like, I'm not a very good cook, but I cook. And you watch her cook it and you're like, hey, it's not, doesn't look too bad. And nobody really says a lot about it because Chantal doesn't sit there and pretend to be some, genius chef.
Streamed when I threw the bones in, and I'm pretty sure at least one time making uh that was Sam's, and yeah, I haven't bought it in a while, but the cranberry chicken salad from Sam's is like my favorite. Yeah. I put on this shirt and I was like, I'm gonna put on this shirt even though I don't really feel like I'm vibing or thriving right now. We're gonna manifest it. I got a shit ton of fresh veg from a local farm box I subscribed to and had to use it up before it spoiled, so I just roasted everything and blended it up with some cream, and it's delicious. That does sound really good. That chicken salad from Sam's is so yummy. It really is. Fake it till you make it, literally.
I'm getting ready to make cream of vegetable soup and I'm so excited. I cannot wait. My base for it, I don't know if any of you guys even care about this, but here we are. My base for it is a recipe from the 1860s, and it is a cream of celery and onion soup. And I make the base, and then once the base is made, I put in all of my other veggies like green beans, carrots, peas, corn, and I run that through my blender so it's nice and smooth. And then I put it in with the base and blend it up a little bit more. Best, best soup ever. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Um, I don't know that Rosie would want my recipe though.
So, okay. Vibe change. Wee woo wee woo. We're vibe changing. I gotta fuck. My vibes are McFuck. We gotta unfuck the vibes. I'm not on disability. No, I don't. I'm not like on like government disability. No,
Okay.
but
Okay, so she has not been diagnosed as disabled. Because that's the first step is to get diagnosed by a doctor and them say that we think that you are disabled. And then they start helping you fill out the paperwork for you to get like a handicap placard and to take that information to like the Social Security office and stuff like that for you to start the process of disability. Now, in America, 90% of people are denied the first time that they apply for disability. Um, and you have to hire a lawyer and reapply. But that's generally where you start the process. So at least we got an answer to that. Also, Rosie is lately so concerned with her hair and how it appears and how it seems. She is constantly sitting and touching, which increases grease. But on top of it, she is constantly pulling it so tight back in that clip. And when you pull your hair back tight like that, it pulls on your scalp and it increases the amount of oils that are excreted and it gives you oilier hair. She just needs to really, like, she needs to find something that works for her and then learn to not touch her hair. Um, I have very naturally coarse curly hair. And so on days that I wear my hair curly, because this takes an hour to get it like this, and it doesn't even look that decent today. Um, But on days that I have curly hair, once it's curly and it has set, I cannot touch it. If I touch it, it immediately gets frizzy, and within about an hour, if I keep touching it, I have a full afro. So it is doable to learn to not touch your hair. It's just work. And I don't know that our girl's willing to put that in.
we gotta like
Okay.
uplift the mood. We started off on like a low note. Let's end on a high. God, I love wonton. Yeah.
Okay, we're cooking over here.
Weird. Italians do expire as soon as you need them. That's so real. 1 second. Alright.
So I'll just boob tube right now, apparently.
So, for flavor purposes, where are you? Haha. I'm gonna do some sesame oil. Sesame seed oil. And then so just a little bit of ginger with the garlic. I'm gonna put it in now because I don't want it to cook for too long because it will burn. I'm not making any of this from scratch. Levi will pay. No. Who knows? I could have thrown it away and completely forgot. I'm not gonna blame my brother.
She doesn't make a whole lot from scratch. And also that jar of garlic she's got, we go through one of those about every 3 weeks in our house. Because me and my husband eat it every single morning with local grown honey. Because if you do that, it helps with inflammation. It also works as an antibiotic. And it also works as like a protectant from sicknesses. He had last winter, and there was about a 3 week spell that everybody at his job called in sick because they had strep or flu. And so I started making him do a double dose of the garlic and honey. Never missed a day. Best thing ever. But in the process, we go through a lot of honey. What was that? Okay.
That's not even half the pot, but that'll be enough to make enough wontons for me and my brother. Let me go ahead and just throw all this away. I'm gonna let that go for a bit. Hello, Ambro. Kumbaya, stuck in your head. Someone told me the word ketchup and mac and cheese. That's how my dad eats it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that was a '90s staple. I don't do that, but it's apples and beans with mustard, barbecue sauce, and some ooh. Oh, Demery, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, my fingers are icicles. Absolutely. Who's Snow on the Bluff? What?
Okay.
I'm making a shortcut version of wonton soup. I mean, the chicken broth is technically homemade. It was just frozen. We need to hire a PI for the missing onions. If I really cared, I probably could just dig through my trash, but I don't give enough of a damn for that. Good Lord. Could you imagine?
Gosh.
I'm actually using, I don't think I showed you guys, I'm sorry, pork and vegetable dumplings this time. The ones prior were chicken from Sam's Club. These are also from Sam's Club, but they're the Bibigo. My brain is broken. Help. This brand is great. I've never had anything from this brand be bad. Their dumplings are fire. All of them are good. I love this brand. They also have really good instant rice. I'm not trying to be a jackass, but if you are a light salad for money, would be critics. For money, would critics still be what? Charlotte, I'm so sorry. That broke my brain. Yes, it's a Korean brand. Yes, I know my Sam's does, Cameron. I know it can vary by location. This brand, yeah, Bibigo broke the brain, yeah. Rosie reading that gave me a stroke. Same. I was like, what? Let me try to reread it again. I don't know what word was supposed to be 8.
Am I allowed to be triggered? Are they making fun of me? I don't know. Maybe I should file a complaint. I don't know. Rosie's lucky that I am a healed and strong woman.
You're okay. I fucked that up. Okay. I'm glad it wasn't me. It wasn't like just me having like a moment. Ooh, here we go. The blocks of broth are starting to melt, y'all. This is gonna take a bit longer because I fucked up. Yeah. More time to vibe, facts. I'll be honest, I almost set the goal for like, I'll try a weird food combo, but then I backspaced and I was like, nah, I don't want that to get blown out of proportion, so I didn't. It was funny that Lauren said that, because I actually seriously considered setting that as the goal, and I was like, no, I'll just put Q&A, I guess. Yeah, I haven't seen Big O in a while. Sometimes people just like come and go, but like people experience real life stuff where they just aren't on the internet as much. You never know. And sometimes people just decide they're not in my content anymore. I think what they were just, oh, if you ate a salad for super chat, etc., would your critics be mad still? Wait, that's a funny idea. Next goal, just like, we hit this goal, I'll eat a salad. That's funny, actually. That's good, Demery. Well, people are going to have all sorts of reactions if you decide to eat for money. Exactly. And that's a line that I'm just not sure I want to cross.
Okay. Whoa. That's a line that I'm not sure that I want to cross. You are working on being a professional YouTuber right now. You are wanting to make this your full time income. And you are literally eating for that income. You are sitting on stream and eating. 95% of the time, we can't even see what you're cooking. And you want to be like a cooking channel or a food channel. And you don't actually do a lot of actual for real cooking that people would tune in to see. The majority of the world doesn't want to tune in and watch somebody open a bunch of cans or packages and dump it all in a container. They want to sit and watch somebody really cook. Why do you think that is the content on Food Network and not it's not opening a bunch of cans generally? Like that's the difference. So you use the cooking title as an excuse to eat on camera. You are still to this day eating for money. But that's part of the problem that people have with this whole thing. Especially because you screamed so loud about how bad mukbangs were and what it led to and the kind of content you wanted to stray away from and you yourself when you started your channel in a live stream said I can provide better content than that. I don't have to eat for money. That's the issue. You are still eating for money.
No, I know, Catlu. I know. That's why I didn't do it. Critics just be critical to be critical. Facts. You're a good shirt lord. Yeah, Carmen. Agreed. Thanks, Abby. The live started a bit weird, but we got here. We got here. But, yeah. I'm not really interested in getting into the habit of rage baiting. Ooh, lemonade with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, like a lemonade float? That sounds yummy. Would it curdle? I don't think so. Rage bait is like, so when they said like, you know, if you put the goal to like, or when I made the joke about putting a goal to eat a salad, that would be kind of like rage baiting people into super chats. And I'm not really interested in actually doing that. The idea just made me laugh. Oh yeah, the Chick-fil-A frozen lemonade. I don't think I've ever had that. But yeah, that sounds like a similar concept, just like blended. I've never done, I've done obviously like a root beer float, but I don't think I've done it with other sodas. If I have, I've just forgotten. So, I mean, honestly, I just follow the instructions for wonton soup. You bring your broth to a boil, add frozen wontons. And we talked out the plans and the details about my travel and stuff. Thankfully, my flights work well around his schedule. Are you part Native American? Those cheekbones. Thank you. My mom told me that we are. I don't know, cause like, let's just say my 23andMe didn't say anything about being Native American. But my mom said that like there's like a super small percentage. So based on my mom, yes, but I don't know. And like I do get a lot of compliments on my cheekbones.
There are a lot of other ethnicities, though, that have amazing cheekbones. It does not necessarily have to be native. Um, I live in a state where there is a very heavy native population. My grandpa was 75% Cherokee, and my adopted step siblings are all 100% native. Um, and they all have amazing cheekbones. Um, but there are other ethnicities that have amazing cheekbones that aren't necessarily native. And if your 23andMe said that you have no native in you or it didn't show up, I would go off of that over what mom says.
Soda and soft drink is called a spider in Australia. That's interesting. Hey, Rat, good to see ya. Yeah, she said we were part Cherokee. Australia don't need any more spiders. You know what? Rosie, if you were to go on any reality TV show, what would you choose of the traitors? The traitors. 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 It's traitors. Get to stay in a fancy castle in Scotland. You need to watch it. And so the traitors, basically every night, they murder someone in their sleep. So, like, Traitors. Yeah, I think I am saying it like traitors. I'm not going to ruin anything. No, that was just explaining the premise. And also, the premise is sometimes slightly vary depending on which country it's based in and you're watching. And the dynamics between when it's like regular people versus when it's celebrities is so interesting. Like, it's so good. It's such a good television. I can't even begin. Ooh, okay, we're fully melted. That means we can slowly get to the point of burning. Burning? Boiling. We don't want burning. Burning is bad. Don't burn your food. You have no idea who what is. How hot is this? Oh, it's actually kind of hot. Good. Hey, Mad Hatter.
Okay, so we were all up here and we did not wash our hands and we just scooped the broth out of that pan, stuck our finger in that broth to see if it was hot, and then dumped it back in the pan. And she's not just cooking this for her. I think she's cooking this for Levi as well.
Oh, girl, honey, sweetie, baby child, ma'am. I'm assuming gender here. If he keeps cheating on you, you gotta leave him, babe. That's what you gotta do. The answer hasn't been in front of you the whole time, and you don't want to take it for your reasons that I'm sure are valid and emotions that are high. But you gotta love yourself more than that.
Why is Rosie giving relationship advice? She was literally on here pitching a fit. I guess somebody just said that their man cheated on them multiple times. And she's like, baby girl, leave him. You don't need that. You're so much better. The internet was literally saying, don't get mixed in with this guy because he's bad news. He has violent felonies and has been charged with SA. And you were like, you don't know him. You don't know my situation. You can't do this to me. It makes me want to love him more. Did like I don't know that Rosie is the one to be giving dating advice. I don't know that Amberlynn's the one to be giving dating advice. Foodie is definitely not the one to be giving dating advice. Like she had so much attitude and sass when people were telling her run the other direction, and now she's giving somebody the same advice. Like who would take dating advice from Rosie?
You gotta prioritize yourself. You gotta choose you. Huh? I was never an FB reaction channel. The fuck? Absolutely not. I made one video about her forever ago that I deleted a long time ago. Because it's not about that life. I've never been a reaction channel to that kind of content. Not, I made one video. That's the video you're thinking of. And it wasn't a reaction video. It was a video talking about her.
She did make a video talking about how horrible Foodie was and the type of content that Foodie was putting out on the internet when it comes to mukbangs, which I think that got deleted because here we are. And actually, she has two reactions up on her channel right now. She has it's like 11-hour live stream where she reacted to Snowflake's documentary on Life by Jen. And then she has another one where she is reacting to content that a couple puts out that she says is feeder content and stuff. So she has actually been a reaction channel, and she's reacted to other people that are kind of in the same lane as she is. So I don't know why she's lying because like the content's still up on her channel for us to go look at.
My thoughts at the time. And I'm sure it's very hard, but you gotta choose you, babe. Yeah, I mean, I didn't delete it because I disagreed with it. I deleted it because I was tired of people, like, bringing it up and, like, using it as, like, some weird focal point. Yeah, and I don't even want to talk about her. Like,
No, people were using it as a focal point because you put this video out where with your whole chest you were talking about how it was so ridiculous with how she was eating on camera, what she was eating on camera, that she was creating feeder content, and then 6 months later you're doing the same thing. You so desperately wanted to be in Gorl World that you just dove headfirst in, and you have leaned in hard to it. We don't get vlogs anymore. We literally get you scooting around the kitchen, cooking food and eating. And let's be real honest about it. The content that you're making, the scooting around the kitchen in a chair and cooking food, was not your content to begin with because you took it from Rain the Planet. And she actually for real cooks. If you guys want to see real cooking, go over and check out Rain. She does amazing food. But that's where she got the idea from. So this isn't even original.
apparently she's gonna fuck off the internet. So, it is hard, but you're worth more than that. Absolutely. He's showing you how he feels about you.
Yeah, she's hoping that Foodie disappears from the internet because if Amber's gone and Foodie's gone, she gets to take that top spot. She wants to be the center of Gorl World. As much as she screams and complains, I don't want to be part of it, she does because that's where the money is. If she can take over one of their spots, that's where it's at.
With his actions. You're good. She's live now. Of course she is. Holy shit. Oh, it's so fucking predictable. It's sad. Anyway, I gotta shut the fuck up. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, Foodie did go live. She was live for like 2.5 hours. I was going to try and cover that, but I was having technical issues, and then all at the same time my phone started buzzing like crazy and it said Milky was sniping, Pulpy was sniping, Are You Serious was sniping, and Falafel Reacts was sniping. And I was like, you know what, everybody's got this corner covered, we're just going to sit here and focus on our girl. The only thing I would have talked about is that Foodie had titled the live stream I'm live and my husband doesn't know about it. And then I listened to the first like 15 minutes while I was trying to get all my technical stuff sorted out. And somebody said, Does Salah not know? And she said, No, he's sleeping. And they said, Is he going to be mad? And she said, Yes, he is, but I don't have to hear about it now. And I was like, Wow, you spend all this time trying to convince us that you are in a loving traditional Muslim marriage, which generally means that the man is in charge, the man makes the rules, and the woman is submissive. I don't make those rules. That's generally how a Muslim marriage works, and here you are on the internet, going against what your husband told you to do, being extremely disrespectful to his wishes. And if you really loved, I mean, I feel like if she really loved Salah, she would really take into account what he asks of her and how he feels about what she does. But apparently, attention from people on the internet is more important than her relationship. So I guess we're getting dual coverage. You've got Rosie and Foodie.
Yeah, especially if it's a chronic cheating thing. Like, look, if it's the first time and you want to forgive and try to, you have your reasons for wanting to make it work and move on, that's understandable. Second time? Third time? Babe. Beyond that, I don't even want to recognize. That's crazy, dorky. Once a cheater, always a cheater, yeah. Yeah, he's showing that he doesn't respect his.
Oh, that's a lot of food. When did
What do you
she
mean,
cook
Carmen?
rice? Where did the rice come from?
Oh yeah, that's like the like Cincinnati chili, right? Yeah, so the chili and cinnamon roll thing is like a Nebraskan thing. I used to live there. I remember the first time I tried it, like, so I had a job. I went for a different company, but they had a contract with American Express. And I started on the phones and then I got on chats.
We get to peek at the cheesecake.
Exactly, Angel. And now that I have the recipe book, I want to try to. Yeah, her brother came in a while ago and said that she's going through some stuff, and she plans to be back eventually, but it might be a while. Okay, Salma. I wish my brother liked meatloaf, because meat ground beef is so expensive right now. The fact that like the normal price of ground beef right now is like $5.50 a pound is fucking crazy. Thank you, Joanna. I love this cheesecake. I think like sometimes it throws me off. Like I can taste the eggs in it, which is why I think I don't like a baked cheesecake that as much as like probably a no bake.
Okay. You should not be able to taste egg in it, because cheesecake is essentially a custard. So if she's tasting egg in it, there's a few options. I think it's two of them combined, honestly. Um, One is it's overbaked, because then it starts moving from being custard to being like a pudding with scrambled eggs in it. Second option is that the ingredients were not properly incorporated together, which I'm thinking is part of it because she didn't spend a whole lot of time mixing this thing up. And then the third is if you don't season it properly. And when it came to her doing the salt and the vanilla, she was just kind of doing her own thing. So I think it might end up being a mix of she didn't season it well and the ingredients were not properly incorporated. Because she put that cream cheese in and you were supposed to cream the cream cheese with the sugar, and really get it blended well and fluffy. She was there maybe 30 seconds. So that may be her biggest issue.
Thank you, Monica. I think that's the thing. Hey, Say, and I think that's the thing that like holds me back from being like this is incredible because it's really good. It's a good cheesecake, but like especially if you like a baked cheesecake, but it's like I can taste the eggs in it, and it just bugs me.
Okay, guys, I don't know that there's a whole lot more that we missed, um, after that. So, oh, and we've been here for an hour, guys. I am so sorry. But well, we moved around a lot, but we got through about an hour and 50 minutes. So, thanks for hanging out with me and watching this with me. Um, I think I have the last of my technical issues figured out. And so I'm planning on having a live stream or announcing a live stream within the next like week. So keep your eyes out for that. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Hit the like button if you would. Leave me comments below. Because once we get that live thing figured out, we'll be good to go. Also, let me know what times work best for you guys for me to go live and what you guys would like to see me cover in different live streams. So, but with that, I'm going to quit talking your ears off. And I'm going to remind you that you need to be good and behave yourselves. But if you can't, at least make me proud and do it right. And then post it online so we can talk about it later. Bye, guys.